Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 10th of 2023. Today is the official release date of The Marvels by Disney, and it's not looking too good either. A lot of critics have been giving this film below average reviews, really shifting away from all of the MCU and really labeling this movie as the absolute worst one of all time so far, and for multiple factors. Now we know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been lacking for quite a long time now, and this by far I think is going to be pretty much like the top portion of everything that has been going wrong with Disney throughout 2023. Let's discuss, shall we? Now we know that the Marvel's director Nia DaCosta has not been too happy with the fans' negative response and the ongoing backlash going against the performances in this film, the direction of the story, and just the general idea of the movie itself. This is IGER. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at IGER1. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, the thing about Brie Larson, and we've talked about this before in the past, is that she is very caught up within herself. She is very self-absorbed. She feels that she deserves everything in the world. We already talked about how Disney dropped her from multiple cameo appearances in Marvel TV shows after the Marvel's test screening went sour and really turned upside down. A similar thing recently happened to the next Captain America film, which is another reason why it was delayed on top of that. More to talk about that later. But what's interesting about this, though, has a lot to do with the Marvel's director lashing out against Marvel fans and those that are already going against this movie for, rightful reasons. Let's get into all of this. Now, with The Marvels now out in theaters and already receiving poor and negative reviews, leading Disney into panic, one major development has to do with The Marvels director Nia DaCosta responding to the fan outrage and the backlash by delivering the following. As a director and someone who was honored to be given this film such a special ending that will give fans a new beginning, I find it to be quite repulsive over toxic men giving this film a bad rap. I think at heart, this is a great film for girls and women, and we need more examples like this in the Marvel Universe to expand our options and what we can provide to our audience. The problem that we face with a franchise like this is that men are so opposed to a female ensemble cast, especially for a Marvel film. It's why I think so many of them are turning away from what Disney is doing with their special Star Wars project called The Acolyte, which I think will be innovative for that franchise. But getting the chance to work with Brie has been a gem, and she expressed the same thing to me on set numerous times, that we should expect some kind of negative response from toxic fans that will mostly consist of men going against our story. It's no secret that we wanted to make this a female-centric film right from the get-go, and we really wanted to shift our gears from Marvel fans that may be into the guy-driven stories, so this was refreshing to direct and create on set and after. Now guys, let me just say one thing about Nia DaCosta before I move on here. You can obviously see that she is very much like Brie Larson, very self-absorbed, very much, within her own world, not having a care in the world about criticism. She can't take criticism very well, seemingly. And this is another example of a director out there that obviously has an agenda where she later, in just a second we'll go over this, she later really denies any kind of hidden agenda behind this film. Now, she already kind of just put it out there that this movie is strictly and mostly meant for girls and women. And if you look at the demographic for the Marvel franchise, right, we know that a lot of it is geared toward men. I mean, let's be honest, that's the core demographic. You got some women in there, sure, but Disney can't sell a product if they're trying to gravitate toward them mainly. And this is the major shift that Kathleen Kennedy, by the way, has been trying to do with Star Wars. And this is exactly what Marvel was trying to tap into as of late with a lot of their Marvel projects that's really turning upside down as it speaks. Now look, that's not to say that I am against women lead roles or a female ensemble cast like she says, as long as it actually fits the story and it really kind of unfolds naturally. That's when it works best. Kill Bill you know, Volume 1, I would really argue that it is a great example of how to do things correctly. Even Kill Bill Volume 2, it works out perfectly as well. But what's interesting about this has a lot to do with what Nia DaCosta has to say on top of that. She elaborates further. I had the time of my life, but when you are dealing with a series of groups of people making ridiculous claims about this film, and how we have all these agendas thrown behind it is just absolutely ridiculous, and obviously a defense mechanism by themselves, not ready to accept this film for what it is. I am proud of my work, and I will continue to do whatever is necessary to promote this film to proud, empowering women that may want to give this film a chance to get up to speed with the MCU. Brie was very put off by the negative energy that was being put out even after we wrapped filming. It was terrible. I believe we need a big change in this world with how certain pieces of cinema is accepted, especially from Marvel and all things Disney. We are witnessing a rising amount of common moviegoers that pick and choose their films for the wrong decisions, and it's hurting the industry deeply. And I just hope that we can get to tell our story as much as we can to as many people as we can to share our love for empowering women on the big screen, and Brie feels the same way. She has been absolutely put off by the recent response from both critics and the fans as a whole, and it's time to change things for the better. Now guys, you notice a lot of directors and creators like this that work on movies like this. It's time for change, it's time to make this the new normal or the new standard, and this is how it has to be to make up for lost time. This is really like what Kathleen Kennedy thinks. This is how Kevin Feige has also said things before in the past, which really drove a lot of fans away. And it's no surprise that Nia DaCosta, the director of the Marvels, is very much the same in nature. Now again, we know that this movie was always expected to not do well with the critics and at the box office for quite a number of months ahead of time. The test screening did not work out. It was very similar to Aquaman 2, where people were walking out literally in the middle of the screening and wanting nothing to do with the film. And that goes to show you that what needs to be actually focused upon is proper storytelling, proper character development, and you have to let the story unfold, like I said before, naturally, to let itself actually gravitate toward the audience in a proper way. You know, this is obviously a film full of agendas, as much as they want to absolutely just refuse that that was ever a thing, or really kind of deny that that was ever really a thing with the Marvels, but it is. We all know this is true. So those like Brie Larson and the rest of the cast involved, and director Nia DaCosta, you know, they are obviously trying to change Marvel, much like how Kathleen Kennedy is trying to change Star Wars. It's really no different, by the way, and we can also point the finger at Kevin Feige quite a bit, because let's face it guys, we talked about this, Kevin Feige was influenced by Kathleen Kennedy in recent months and years, and yes he was. In fact, they're very good friends with each other, very, very close. So that's why he got that Star Wars movie offer that is no longer happening, by the way. But overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.